How goes the family? Welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hopefully you guys are having an awesome day. Today's story I'm very passionate to talk about. It's a great story and I'm glad I found this article. It's been circling social media, been all over the big news channels, and it's definitely something that needs to be talked about until the end of time. These 5 young men, very inspiring people. I will get into their names later, but they really don't need any introduction because, hey, they've inspired me. I do real estate. They're doing real estate, but the fact that these guys are in their 20s and they're actually making power moves, it's amazing. And I'm glad that narrative is spilling with more and more people, the younger generation, especially the younger African-American men and women, because, we, for the most part, we've always just been taught just to go to school and get a job. But the conversation is changing to, if you want to go to school, fine. However, owning a business, owning assets, stocks, bonds, real estate, etc., is definitely more in your best interest than any degree will ever be. And I love the fact that narrative is growing in a big freaking way. Now, a lot of people would like to get into real estate game, but they lack the funds to do just that. But these 5 young men said, the heck with all that, we're going to do it anyway. One of the biggest things that people lack is having the right people around you. You see so many immigrants that are thriving in the United States of America because yes, a lot of times they do get other benefits from from the government, and they get benefits from their own country, and sometimes they even come over here with money. But I'm talking about your poor immigrant that's not getting any benefits and still makes a way. And I'm talking about the ones that you see practicing group economics. It's a special thing called group economics with one another. In fact, if you look at most cultures outside of Western civilization, i.e. Europe, Canada, United States, Australia, all cultures outside of those countries that I just mentioned, and the continents that I just mentioned, and countries that I've just mentioned, most places people practice group and family and friends economics, meaning that sharing financial resources and partnerships with one another instead of doing things from an individualistic manner. And in America, it's becoming a must, unless you're rich, for working people to start just practicing more and more group economics. It's not even up for debate. It's a freaking fact. Okay, because you see more people's bad debts climbing, savings dwindling or none at all because cost of living going up, and because people think they can still do things the old-fashioned way, like it's the 80s and 90s. I'm just going to have a job and not have backup plans, not partner up with people in their family. Especially, unfortunately, you start people that just want to compete with their family, and I'm just like, I'm not going to compete to look better than somebody. I'm not in high school anymore. That's not my thing. Your car is nicer than mine, so what? Your clothes are nicer than mine, so what? How does that have any effect on my life? Like I said, as a grown man, I don't care. That's just a personal thing, okay? And then, because one thing that I read recently, it stated, and I quote, individuals build small things, groups build big things. And you look at your entrepreneurs like Mark Cuban, Robert F. Smith, Russell Simmons, Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos. They built great things, but they didn't do it all by themselves. In this article I read the other day, these 5 young men did just that. They teamed up to purchase their first real estate investment property in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And hey, I invest in Pennsylvania, so like I said, in a sense, it kind of hits home for me on that area. All of these young men decided to practice group economics from the one-on-one aspects of group economics. They decided to put aside $50 a week. $50 is nothing anymore unless you're homeless. $50 is not a lot of money anymore. And I'm not saying that to be funny, I'm just being realistic. $50 is not a lot of money anymore. Okay, you can eat off of $50 for maybe a couple of days. And they can put gas in your car, and they could maybe fix something on your car, and they could maybe pay a bill. But $50 is not a lot of money anymore to set aside. Okay, they put $50 away a week so they could all collectively invest in something bigger than themselves. After 2 years of putting their money away, they ended up accumulating enough money to purchase their first own real estate investment property. So let's do the numbers. Okay, let's do the numbers. $50 a week for 2 years between 5 people. Okay, that equals $250. That equals $250. Okay, a week. Times that by 4, it equals $1,000. You have how many weeks in a year? 52 weeks. Okay, so then when you do the additional math on this, and I might be off by a little bit, but just please bear with me. You have 52 weeks in a year, so $1,000, okay, times 52 equals $52,000. Then another added on top of that equals about $104,000. Now let's put this into perspective. You know, whether the numbers are from 80 to 90 to $100,000, that's 80 to 90 to $100,000. Most people don't even make that much money a year, and even when they do make that in a salary with taxes, it still doesn't even equate to that amount of money. But for 5 young people to invest that kind of money, just save that kind of money for 2 years, and to come up with a number to buy an investment property, and most likely buy a property cash money so that they don't have to have a mortgage, which is another thing that smarter people are doing nowadays. Heck, I just saw a property today in Pennsylvania, it was near Harrisburg. It was $5,000. It needed work, but I'm like, we talking $5,000 here. No mortgage. All I gotta do is worry about property taxes in a town where it's way cheaper compared to where I grew up in the DMV area. Like I said, let's put this into perspective. Okay, so it's just, you know, if you have all these supposed friends, because a lot of people, you know, a friendship nowadays is something on social media, you know, not close friends anymore, because we have devices that just take our attention away from everything, devices, families, you know, things of that nature. But you have all these social media friends on your friends list, and you cannot get together to have enough trust between one another. And in my personal opinion, you're around the wrong people. Because that's in business, being around the right people really matters. Now, bear in mind, these young men are a mix of friends and family. So they got good friends and got good family. And I would tell you all one thing. I wish I had these kind of friends and family members when I was in my early to mid 20s. Okay, because a lot of the young men in their early to mid 20s and whatnot are only concerned with themselves and chasing women. Heck, and when I was in my early to mid 20s, all my family members are worried about was just trying to out-compete and outshine one another, not talking about collective group economics, bragging about their degrees and bragging about their salaries and whatnot, but not trying to say, hey, we should team up together and do something, you know, and it wasn't like that. So, or just people talking about, you know, chasing women or chasing men, you know, stuff that just doesn't matter, or rap music, I mean, or music in general, or entertainment, stuff that doesn't matter. Okay, I wish I had those kind of people in my family, but I digress. Okay, so reading this article makes me proud of these young men. I will go back, shine the light on them again. Very proud of these young men. Okay, and the old saying goes, teamwork can, for the most part, always make the dream work. In this article, stated that if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And that, my friends, is an old African proverb. You know, and I believe in that down to the bone, you know, because those proverbs, they really mean something. Really look at it. It's like they really mean something. It's a trip that, you know, you don't have more people just going by these old school manners, ways of doing things, you know. And that African proverb is Hannigan thought of when he talked about his 2 younger cousins, Mackay Herder and Ahmed Hill, who are both 23 years old, and, you know, his 2 longtime friends, Teray Harvey and Darius Jacobs, and who are both 26 years old. You know, so these are people that have been around each other for a long time. And, you know, and when it came to him bringing this business proposal in hopes to change the path of their lives in a much better way, because like I said, this isn't talked about enough, you know, because that's how you really inflict change in your life. It's not worrying about no election. It's not worrying about what some celebrity said. No, it's worrying about how you are actually going to implement change in your life. Okay, unless that celebrity is talking about stuff like this. It does, like, don't worry yourselves about this. Don't worry about who won the World Series or wins the Super Bowl. You know, unless if you're just completely happy with your life, that's another story. You know, let's just keep it real on that note. If you're just completely happy, then that's cool. You know, but you know, this matters more than the World Series. This matters more than the freaking the playoffs. This matters more than the Super Bowl, in my personal opinion. And trying to change your life by yourself is one of the hardest things to do. Me, myself, I work and partner up with people on a regular basis. Let's just keep it real on that one. Excuse me. And that's how I accomplish business as fast and efficient as possible. I'm not trying to do this all by myself. I want a team because I want to get there quicker. I wanted to get there yesterday. I don't want to get there 5 years from now. The idea to save $50 a week came from Najee Hannigan. And Mr. Hannigan stated that the most challenging part was getting them to understand that time is going to pass regardless. That is something to really think about. Time is going to pass regardless, unless you end up passing away, unfortunately. So we can invest in ourselves or continue to let time pass us. Man, that is one of the realest things I've heard all day, read all day. That is so true. Time is going to pass. So either you're going to do something different so you don't be in the minority, like on the Minority Mindset channel, as Jassi Sprit says, or you're going to be different and do something different. Because that's the thing. It's like, yeah, time is going to pass. So either you're going to do something different or you're going to do something major. And he said, and the best thing you can do is invest in yourself and bet on yourself. Okay, don't bet on some freaking sports game worrying about some team that's going to win and it's not going to have no impact on your life. Bet on yourself. And that is another great thing that I don't think enough people think about or talk about, even if they do think about it. Most people think that only obtaining a skilled trade and a college degree is the only way to invest in themselves. But there isn't enough people talking about actually setting aside small amounts of money so that they can make power moves. It's hard to make power moves in life if you are surrounded with people that only want to talk about things that have no substance, and you're wasting your time, in my personal opinion, as an adult. Together, the group saved enough money within 2 years. 2 years of their life. Time's going to pass by either way, like the young man said. And they had recently bought their first investment property, and they plan to restore it before renting it out. And they bought it in Philadelphia, okay? And say what you want about Philadelphia. It's a city that's being gentrified. So they're taking advantage of that right now before they end up getting priced out of the city. And if you do live in a major city right now and you're not well-to-do and you're not planning to be well-to-do, you're going to get priced out. That's just what it is, no matter what state you're in. Okay, red state, blue state, purple state, it's all irrelevant. Okay, I made stories about this. What is it? In the South, you got Nashville, you got Houston, you got New Orleans, you got Miami, you got Atlanta. 5 cities in the South that are red states that are being gentrified. It has nothing to do with a political party. It has everything to do with business and economics. And everybody needs to start getting into that more than all this other stuff. Okay, like I said, I'm passionate about this subject, so forgive me. And so that's just, I think that's very intelligent move that they're making. And they have also established, and this is even better, a property management company with hopes to acquire more properties in the future. And that is very smart, because you never want to put all your eggs in one basket anymore. But those days are dead. 1980s, 70s, 90s, that time frame is done. Okay, you want to be able to pull from multiple resources. That's why the whole mindset of multiple streams of income matters, because eventually it's going to stop raining and one part of your income will dry up. It's just inevitable, no matter what situation you're in. And even if you got hurt and you're on disability, your income will not be the same as it was when you're actually earning money on a job. You get some income, but you're not going to get a lot, and you're going to barely be able to make it. You have to have a mindset of being an entrepreneur. There's no other way. It's a must. It's a survival tactic at this point. There's no other way to look at it. You got to look into other avenues so that, if one resource dries up, you can pull from another. Mr. Hannigan has entrepreneurship in his blood, because he's also a co-founder of a child care center called Extraordinary Scholars Academy. And he was thankful that his friends trusted him fully despite their doubt at first. And I can understand that, because any situations presented to you, there's going to be doubt. You want to challenge it. Absolutely. You don't just want to take somebody's word for it. You don't want to take my word for it only. You got to do your own research, do your own homework, ask the right questions. Even if you don't, do some more research so that you can ask the right questions and get the right answers. He believes that trust is the foundation that made their plan come to fruition. And that's the thing. So many people don't trust each other nowadays. And that is a very sad thing. I just wanted to give some, if nobody's ever been to Philadelphia, these are pictures of certain kind of houses that they bought, and that they're going to continue to buy. And the beautiful thing about places like Pennsylvania, I love the infrastructure, the homes that are made there, because and that's why I invest there, because they're rock solid. Places like Richmond, Virginia, Norfolk, Virginia, Washington, D.C., Baltimore, the foundation's so strong, compared to a lot of newer development houses that are being built nowadays. So foundation is very strong. I mean, you can drop a bomb and it would probably take 5 or 6 to really knock those buildings down, because the foundation is that strong. But and that's just keeping it in perspective. You got to find people you can trust, because that's the heart of this article, and that's the heart of why they're able to make the power moves that they're making right now. The article ended with these wise words for everyone thinking of getting into this situation. Find people you can trust and never give up. Just like I stated. Don't argue with the dumb stuff. I agree. That's why I don't do arguments. I've been making a poem called I Don't Do Drama, I Do Business. So let's get into this. And always think of the bigger picture. And that's what a lot of us, we lose sight because it gets cloudy, our sight gets cloudy, and we forget about what the bigger picture is. What are we doing this for? So, give up the vacation for a couple years. Get a cheaper vehicle. Pay your credit cards off. Keep them at zero. It's just like, what are you willing to give up to truly accomplish your dreams? Turn off Netflix. Turn off YouTube if you need to. Hey, what do you need to do? Who do you need to partner up with? Don't do it alone. Giving up something like, because it said in the article, giving up something like cable or clothes for a year or two can put you in a position to have it for a lifetime. And I believe that wholeheartedly. Myself, I've had to give up going on vacations a lot. It's like I only go on vacation if it's business related, real talk. I'm not just gonna go for the sake of having fun. I'll do something local if I want to have fun, which is cheaper. And even that, it's like give up the comedy shows, give up the concerts, give up the whatever that costs you money, that money could actually go into something more worthwhile. That's the thing people need to start asking them, the question they need to start asking themselves. Does it mean that much to you to look good and be fancy? That's another thing. Stop competing with people. Will Smith said it best, people are driving cars, living in houses, and wearing clothes to impress people they don't know or to impress people they don't like. Does it really mean that much to you? That's why I love this minimalist movement that's happening right now, because a lot of people are like, I don't need all this stuff. It's just collecting dust. Get rid of it. People sell it on eBay and Amazon all the time and other platforms all the time because they're like, what am I doing with this? Bye. That's the thing. Do you really want your life to really be changed? It's just up to you. Those are the kinds of questions more and more people need to start asking themselves and asking the people around them. The young men stated that we knew that if we gave up, and I love this, we knew that if we gave up any point that we would end up like everyone else, stuck. And that's the mindset that more and more people have to have. I myself have to have that mindset to keep going. If you want to be like everybody else, you are going to stay stuck. Okay, don't complain when you get in your 50s and 60s that your income isn't where it should be. Your savings isn't where it should be. Your retirement plan doesn't even exist anymore because everything is a 401k plan nowadays. So you have to put this in perspective. Where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years? Where do you want to be? What city, state, or country do you want to live in? What kind of savings do you want to have? What kind of assets do you want to have? What kind of people do you really want to be around? Okay, those are things you need to ask yourself, and people in my generation, millennial generation, the younger generation, can't play anymore. Time for play is over. It's nice to have fun and whatnot, but it's even nicer to have a life that you don't have to take a vacation from. And I mean that down to the bone of my soul. I can't put it any other way. So these young men definitely inspired me, and I hope they inspired you all. Their story, like I said, passionate about this because I love to see young people win. I love to see everybody win, but I love to see young people win, and that's what people need to start focusing on: the cash flow and building assets. It's really that simple. Make your assets pay your bills. The blueprint is laid out right here. If you have not seen this before, it's right there. Rental property 1, 2, ebooks, dividend checks. These are the simple principles of wealth. I've learned this from Dr. Royce Watkins. I've learned this from other individuals, Dr. Colin Anderson, economists, entrepreneurs. They know the mindset. They know how to make money grow. Doesn't mean you need to try to be a billionaire, no, but it does mean you need to be at a point in your life where you don't have to have a job. And I put it like that. Love your job, whatever. Like your job, whatever. But set yourself up to the point where you don't have to have it. You can walk out the office and say to your boss, sir, ma'am, thank you this has been a great opportunity, but I'm going to start living my best life. So that's to be the final question to yourself. Do you want to end up like the majority of people out there? Because there's so many financially, mentally stuck people because, you want to do what everyone else is doing. Go to college, just get a job, get a high salary, spend your money on things that will not change your life. Do you want things to change your life, or do you want it to stay the same? And if you do, that's fine. I'm not talking bad about anybody. I'm not being negative. I'm just being realistic about this situation, you know, especially for the younger people. You know, it's like your future, financial future is going to be much harder if you don't start putting stuff away as soon as possible, saving money as soon as possible, and getting the development of an asset accumulator. So hopefully you guys like the video. Please like, please share, please subscribe, check out the online store, and thank you guys for watching if you have. And hey man, let's get some assets, man. Let's get it going. Let's have a better life. Let's live our best life, you know. Take care.